Welcome back to the Gun Show, my friends. We appreciate you being here. Yes, you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. That's right. Are you looking at this camera? Yes, you. If you're just listening, well, it also means you. You can't see my finger pointing at you. But we're happy to have you today. We're talking all things IMTS. And today, Mitsui Seiki. You know you love it. And it's even fun to say. Mitsui Seiki. It's fun to say. High technology. And I got two great friends with me today, Tyler and Joe. But to join them, I got my buddy Arthur Field with me with MTDCNC. For those of you who are joining us at IMTS, we'll be on the Mitsui Seiki booth Wednesday from 10 to 12. The booth number is 338700, and we want to see you there. But just because we're there on that day, join them every day. Go see the technology. It could really increase your capacity at your manufacturing facility. Tyler, I'm going to start with you, man. I love IMTS. Been there a bunch of times. I've spent time with you filming all over the place. Your personality is infectious and fun. But what are we going to see on your booth at IMTS? Welcome back to the Gun Show, my friends. This is the VIP edition.
Yeah, we've been, so I joined Mitsui Seiki about a year ago, a little over a year, and we immediately started talking IMTS. So again, share the excitement there. It'll be good to get everybody back together and really showcase some of the stuff that we're great at, right? So automation's a big thing. So we're going to have a new automation with one of our new partners there with the 5-axis machine. And then we've got one of our jig grinders that we're going to be showcasing, a J350G that pretty cool. You know, I learned a lot about grinding in the last year, more than I think I've ever would have thought to have learned in my past life. But we've got a machine there that's going to be able to hold basically half micron roundness in an automated state. So it's,
half micron.
It says something there, right? So pretty cool machine, and again, the whole concept there is basically rough grind, semi-finish grind, and finish grind all in a semi-automated or automated state using a probe. So
that's incredible. I mean, when you, just in case the people who watch this show are tuning in and you're not in manufacturing, micron is very, very small. I mean, if you think the diameter of your hair is small, they shrink it down to almost, it's not visible to the naked eye. It's not even close to visible. No. Now you're doing half microns, where let's just say this. If the temperature in your house changes by 1 degree, you lose about 3 to 5 micron just by changing the temperature a little bit. Yeah. All right, Joe, what else do we got going on for IMTS?
So something else we're launching at IMTS is the announcement of our new Center of Excellence, our tech center. So our demo center that we're building out at our location in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. It's something that we had dabbled in the past, but didn't really go full go with it. I mean, we'd have some machines there and have customers come in and do their runoffs and have a quick look. But, you know, we're really going all in and doubling down on the capabilities and the capacity of what we're going to do. So we're going to have several machines there at any and all times. We're going to use it for applications training, cutting tool training for existing customers. But secondly, and perhaps most importantly, we're going to be able to offer that equipment as an off-site runoff resource for some of our bigger, better customers. So if we come across a customer that, you know, bid a job and they're really excited about it and they get the program and say they have to make, the expectation is 20 pieces a month. Well, they get the job in, they tool it up, they fixture it up, they start running parts, they're like getting 3, they're getting 7, and now there's panic, right? But they don't have the time, because they're making so little, their end users pushing those for, I don't care how many you can make, if you can make 1, 2, I need them. We don't have any time for downtime, so that puts them into a conundrum where they can't bring somebody in and do online testing, because that'll even slow down their output even more. They may only get 1 or 2 at that point. So what we're going to propose to the marketplace, and this is something I think we're going to be one of the few, if not the only, that are going to do this, is, you know, work with them on a potential new resource machine and work with them on the process offline at our facility. So they would send us some samples of tooling they're using, fixturing they're using, and we would work hand in hand with them in the trenches to help get that process absolutely dialed in, set up and going, so that should they follow through and purchase a machine, we send the machine, the programs, everything. It hits the floor, put power to it, load parts, and they're off and running.
That's awesome. Yeah. Arthur, I'm gonna tell you a little story that these guys I think know a little bit, but it's gonna lead in, because what I want to do is, you guys haven't done a ton of marketing in the past, right? And your machines, when somebody buys your machine, it's typically going to be another one and another one and another one because your quality is so darn high. And you have these friends and customers you've had for a long time. But we want to make this an awareness that's broader, right? So I want to share a story with you that I think you guys know a little bit. Have you ever heard of the material beryllium?
I've heard of it. I've never worked with it.
You don't want to because you have to wear a mask and it's considered poisonous.
Oh, fair. Okay.
But beryllium, when it's sent into space a lot because it's the type of material that if it's close to the sun, there's not a lot of issue. And if it's on the dark side of the moon, there's not a whole lot of issue either because the expansion and contraction of this material in hot and cold, there's not a lot of change. Okay. So they use it in space a lot. But in order to do this, the finish is a polished Miro finish that is gorgeous. It can only be done on a select few machines. And I went into a facility that was doing this application, sending stuff into space. They had bunches of the Mitsui Seiki machines. So I bring that up to segue these guys in just to take a moment to talk about the quality that your machines have so people will want to come see more of this on the booth. And then I'm going to leave it open for some of the questions you might have to follow up on that. So let's just talk about the overall quality of Mitsui Seiki as we continue to shine a spotlight and expand the awareness of the overall technology.
I did research for my next opportunity because I wanted to write a book. And I came across this statistic that 70% of small business owners want to fund their retirement through the sale of their business, when in fact only 20% of them actually had a saleable business. And it broke my heart anticipating the fact that baby boomers, there was a light at the end of the tunnel, and in fact it was a train. And so I really wanted to do something about that. So I wrote a book called Scaling the Exit. The purpose of the book was to articulate a strategy for small to medium-sized business owners to increase the value of their business to the extent that they could actually sell it and fund their retirement. And that was really the first iteration of what became EBITDA Growth Systems and our brand promise, which is to double the valuation of small, medium-sized businesses, specifically in terms of an exit, but double their valuation or we give them their money back.
So I think really touching on that of build quality, again, all hand built in Japan, but globally, the number of machine tools that we can build because the amount of detail and the amount of attention it takes to build one of our machines takes so long. Like in the States, we'll maybe sell 30, 35 machines a year. That's about all we can do, just because of the amount of detail of hand scraping. That, Tony, you've done a great job, I think, educating the masses of what that is and what that causes.
Trying my best, buddy.
You walk in our factory, we've got a really cool little display piece that there's like our normal machine tool hand scrape, if you will, and then we have a jig grind scrape. And we're one of the very select builders that'll do a jig grind scrape on a machine tool. And again, that just adds for longevity, better rigidity of the machine, better accuracies, which translates to better tool wear, better surface finish, and what that actually means to the customer. So every single machine tool that we purchase in the U.S., whether that be for a customer or our stock, we'll actually do a runoff at the factory where we will fly a customer there, sign off on it, go through a 24-hour run on it. All the geometries will go through a check on that as well before it leaves that factory. If there's anything that needs to be done, we do it right then and there before it gets to your shop floor and you've got parts to make. So again, the level of attention to detail and quality, I think speaks volume there.
Yeah, it really is. You said a number that might seem low to people, but this is what happens when you put quality into it. This is also what happens when the precision components that are driven from these machines. I'm not here to ever go, you're the best. I don't do that, right? That's not where I sit. We are an agnostic viewpoint, but Tyler, I'll be darned if you don't sit right there, and it makes me want to say it very badly because the quality is so good. So, Arthur, I'll leave it open to you a little bit. I know you have some questions as well.
Well, yeah, and one I want to come back to. I really love the center you guys are talking about. Look, I have been on the shop floor supporting manufacturing for a long time, and it's such a common situation where you've got these parts, you're running them the best you can, but you're only delivering 50, 60, 70% of your commitment to your customer. you can't do the testing because you can't afford to get any further behind. And God forbid the testing goes poorly and now you're delivering 30% of your commitment that month. So the fact that you guys are working to have those machines there to support your high-end customers, I mean, with how you're talking about how not how few, but the limited quantity, right? Like it's like a limited issue where you've got to get these Mitsui Seikis and you have that small quantity to work with because of the high quality, because of the high finish, because of the support that you guys seem to be bringing as a team to the market. Now you're setting up this center. I don't even know if I have a question and all that. I'm just
You just want to cheer for him, don't you?
I just want to cheer. Yeah, it's
that's a thing. We could do that here.
It's such a conundrum. So the fact that you guys are finding a way to serve your high-end customers, to offer that service, to alleviate their stress so they can go home at night with a little more peace of mind. That's just such a beautiful approach. And I think it says a lot about Mitsui Seiki as a company and the way that you approach the market. You want to bring high quality, limited edition machines to the market. You want to support those customers very well, because their customers are now your customers, just that whole family teamwork aspect to manufacturing. And it makes sense with, I would love to know how you said the automated jig grinding of the base, how does that play in compared to hand scraping? Is there a time you'd use one or the other, or do they both get both services?
Typically, a machine will be ordered. It's really a true solution-based machine, right? So some people need crazy accuracy. There's a great write-up on the James Webb Space Telescope. Yeah. Tony, you're talking about those big beryllium mirrors that our machines cut. We custom built 8 horizontal machining centers that would hold 3 micron full stroke, 1600 millimeters of stroke.
Christmas.
So that they could machine those perfectly and through all the different states.
Did you say 3 micron
yeah.
across 16?
Yeah.
He did. Yeah.
It took a little while to build them, so it is pretty wild story.
So as we're talking about IMTS and we're introducing, and again, you guys are very famous with the folks you work with, but we're introducing this to hopefully a new audience as well. If I walk onto your booth and I'm exploring just the possibility of who I want to work with in the coming years, what information do you think I'll leave with that day after spending time with you?
Yeah, I think the main thing we would want to do is, I like to spend a lot of time on what your pain points are, what you're trying to make, how you're making it now. You guys are typically, or a machine shop is typically an expert at what they do, where we're an expert at we do. And we see a lot of different things at really the high level. So anything that we can learn from a customer that we can take back, think about, and go, man, maybe if we did it a little bit different way with our accuracy and maybe some of our automation partners, maybe we could do it better than they're doing it today, I guess. So really, I think you would want to leave being curious of what we could come up with maybe together as a solution, if that makes sense.
I think that's worth walking on your booth.
Yeah. And thinking further on that, if you're a customer that's coming to IMTS and a couple parameters that you could keep in your mind of what you're struggling with. So if it's a heat-resistant superalloy material, hard metal, hard to machine, super tight tolerances, if the component that you're machining, once you're done machining it, is worth $10,000, let's say, or higher, and you're struggling trying to manufacture those parts, we could be your partner to help you get through that. Work collaboratively, hand in hand with you. We're a custom tool builder, so we like to say, we build the machine around your application so it absolutely fits like a glove. We don't manufacture a bunch of stock standard machines just one after the other off the assembly line and then take your bespoke application and try to shoehorn it into that. Everything is custom. Everything fits like a glove at the end of the day. At least that's the hope. And it's a very collaborative process back and forth. So if you're looking for a partner that's ready to get into the trenches and be arm in arm with you throughout the entire process, and we're happy to help. And we're looking for long-term relationships. We're not looking for one hitter, sell a machine and then the wheels fall off, no service and support and anything like that. We're doubling down on our service team. We're doubling down on our apps team. We're building our center of excellence to make sure that we enhance and support all those opportunities to be a resource to customers. Because let's face it, I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's hard to find workers. It's hard to find anybody to even push a button anymore that wants to show up. I mean, I've talked to people that they'll interview several people one week, and then maybe one guy shows up on Monday for work, and then he disappears at lunchtime.
Well, he had to go get high, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to say it, but I've heard that from so many people. It's, well, I thought I had a good guy.
It's unbelievable.
Joe, if it's okay, I want to pick your brain with something real quick. And Arthur, I don't want to steal all the time like I often do because I talk far too much.
No.
But, and just the really short answer, because there's a follow-up to that question. But Joe, how long have you been with Mitsui Seiki?
Hey everybody, Mike Franz here with Shop Floor Coffee. For 20 years, we've been seeing the same issues going on with workforce development and the shortage in workers across the industry. We wanted a way to give back. Shop Floor Coffee is our way to do that. Proceeds from every bag or every type of coffee you buy from us go back to the community. We work with amazing programs and initiatives across the country where we're giving back. We want to help support the community. Come together with us. Join us in this effort to help support the community. Please, thank you very much.
So I'm early days with Mitsui Seiki. I've been there 2 months, but I have an extensive background, just as you have. I started off as a hands-on machinist. I went through a machinist apprenticeship. I've worked in the cutting tool industry for Sandvik and Kennametal. I worked for Juergens in work holding. So I've got a very well-rounded background of multiple ways. Those are all different sciences into themselves of how you attack the part and reduce cycle time and increase efficiencies. Now I'm on the machine tool side, so it's really intriguing to me to now see the total package of how to bring all those items together. So probably about 30 years experience all in.
So I actually knew all that. Don't tell anyone. I actually planned that. But the follow-up question to that, and Tyler, you're welcome to elaborate on this as well, because I always love speaking and learning with you. But coming from that background, what does this center of excellence that you're going to be able to support your customers mean to you on a personal level? Because for me, saying I can do something for you, trust me, and show me are two different things. And you can now do that for them. And as Arthur said, take the time away from them to have to do it in-house, because we can't fall behind any. Just from the heartstrings pulling of things, what does that mean to you?
Oh, it's going to be such a resource and such a humbling opportunity to have something and comforting knowing you have that resource and that foundation behind you to support opportunities like that. Now, I'll give you a good application or example of what working in cutting tools and fixturing and now machine tools is the most frustrating thing I see, and I think that the Center of Excellence will be able to help with that. So you go into an end user and he's looking at any brand milling machine, he's going to spend $100,000, $200,000 on it, and any machine, whether it's a lathe or a mill, is going to have a available machining envelope of, just say, a 3-foot cube, So then he buys the machine, he uses his tooling, you stop in there a couple days later and he's got a 6-inch tool room vise on there, and he's machining, if you took $100,000 divided by the cubic inches of how much he's using, it's like, come on, man, and the opportunity and the resource we'll have to be able to open their eyes and get them to think outside the box, because maybe that's the way they've always done it and they don't know what they don't know. So it's going to be a very rewarding and exciting experience when we bring that online, for sure.
Yeah, good answer. Tyler, let's close this thing up as our clock has run to 0 and we're all IMTS all the time. But I've known you in different parts of the world. I consider you a good friend of mine. We text somewhat regularly as well. You've transitioned over to Mitsui Seiki. What excites you most about this technology since you've dove into it recently and you've seen so many different aspects of manufacturing? When you stepped into this world, you said, holy, this is exciting, and this is why.
Yeah, I think what really drew me to join Mitsui Seiki was truly, a lot of people go and say, oh yeah, we've got an engineered solution. It's not. It's out of a catalog, or they're sitting around on a bunch of stock and that's what they need to sell. It's great, and you can help people that way, but we truly get to really get the cream of the crop, and we get to really make a difference. I mean, we all joke internally about the James Webb story, but it's such a powerful one that they chose us, and we chose to work with them because we were one of only, I think, any builder in the world that could build a machine that can do that. So to be a part of that and that team, we can do things that will change potentially the world and how we see things, and we get to be a part of that on the manufacturing side. It's a pretty powerful thing to be a part of that, I guess. It's really ideally what drove me to it.
Change the world and how we see things. How do you think, Arthur?
Well, they're here making the difference. We're with MTDCNC. It seems like a great fit.
It does, doesn't it? I like it very much. We have to close this thing out, Arthur, but I've stolen most of this time. Is there anything that I've taken away from you that you'd like to learn today?
I don't know about learn, but I just think the way you guys are approaching it with, because it sounds really like you're looking to find those OEMs that right now can't meet the demands of the market, because there's products out there that if we had more of them in existence, we would be using them all because they make such an impact on everyone's day-to-day life. And Mitsui Seiki seems really committed to, okay, let's get you the right machine, not some random one out of the catalog because it was on sale right now on clearance. Let's get you the right machine for that product because we believe in your product and bringing it to market. Am I getting the gist of it?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't discount the tier suppliers to the OEMs because we service and support the OEMs very well, but there's another component to the industry, the tier 1, 2, 3 suppliers to them that are doing similar parts, that are struggling with the same tolerances, repeatability issues that we really want to bring, spread our wings, so to speak, and bring those into the family of support and service that we're trying to build and let them capitalize and participate in that.
And then they'll get that first solution, and then they'll realize, okay, we're just part of the Mitsui Seiki family,
Right.
and every product's going to go through them going on forward.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's the idea.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Well, that is it for today. You two are my heroes. Arthur, you're okay too. However, we are going to see you all at IMTS Mitsui Seiki booth Wednesday from 10 to 12, but join them all week long. Booth number 338700. Thank you all for watching. This is Mitsui Seiki. This is Tyler, Joe, Arthur, and whoever this guy is. I'll see you all later. We'll talk soon.